the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Speaker, she's going to be at both the Thursday and Friday session. Thursday at 4:30, she's going to talk about social media's impact on mental health. And then on Friday at 8, not sure what time that one is Friday, we'll find out. Friday, she's going to talk about finding peace in chaos. That's an interesting topic. And she is an interesting lady. She has a company called the Center for Digital Well-Being, and they also run some very special camps to teach people how to do these things. We'll find out more about it this morning as we welcome to the program Bailey Parnell. Bailey, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me here.
That's all right. Thanks for calling. Let's start with your company and the company you founded. What does it do, and why did you start it?
Yeah, so I heard you mention the Center for Digital Wellbeing, and that is actually a nonprofit charity that started with an idea just over a decade ago that came from my TED Talk. And the idea was that social media was clearly affecting people's mental health. Everyone listening has some experience with it. Even if they're choosing not to be on it, it is probably for some reason. And I just saw that there were many people being negatively affected, but in my research, I also found that there were people who had a good time on social media and that they were actually improving their mental health and connection with other people. And so I started to realize that there were actually actions that could be done, practices, risk mitigation factors that could be put into place so that people could actually have a good time on social media. And that started as practicing safe social. That expanded over the last decade, really, to go beyond social media to other forms of technology and to consider things like how does our mobile phone or the news that we're consuming on this social media or the experiences of our technology affect our families and our democracies and our workplaces and our communities. And so the Center for Digital Wellbeing is a nonprofit that where I really wanted to just equip other teachers, other parents, everyone who was coming to me asking about this stuff with some resources so they could have these conversations on the daily.
It's interesting because my feeling on social media is that it's brought out the best and the worst in us. Would you agree?
You would not be wrong. You would be exactly right there. And it's hard to believe that second part where you said it brings out the best in people too, because for people listening and for many adults, when I ask them at first, what do you think? Has social media made the world a better or worse place? Often adults will say a worse place. And it's not surprising. You go online, all you get is a bunch of negative news. These things are put into your feed. It's like the world feels like it's falling apart every time you open your feeds and you don't know what you're going to see. And that's why I like that you included the part which includes the best of people, because I've also, when I talk to young people or people who don't know life without social media now, they see it as relatively neutral, actually. They see it as almost like the television, like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. You can use it for good, you can use it for bad, and I can use it to create community and to help my people and to organize a volunteer drive. I can do all these things with it too. So that is where I would want people to go, is to get the best out of this tool that we've created with less of those risks.
Yeah, it's interesting because, for the younger generation, that's all they grew up knowing. For us old goats, and I'm up there, I'm in my young 80s, to me, I had to filter out all of the things that I didn't want to participate or hear about. I had to be very selective in how I use social media, and I do that for my own well-being because a lot of it is so much garbage. And, this is a talk show. I deal with politics. I deal with all kinds of things. And I have to keep up with it, so I have to use some degree of social media. But I have to tell you, I am extremely selective.
you would be further along than most people then in practicing safe social, because the fact that you are even thinking about, does this content serve me? What am I being selective about? Does this actually help me do my job every day, or is this just making me frustrated every day? These are questions that I would actually encourage everyone to ask themselves. And you mentioned it's for your own well-being, but I would also argue that you being well goes beyond you. It makes it so that you don't show up in front of your kids or family frustrated. It makes it so that you are actually paying attention to your colleagues when they're speaking to you. And this becomes workplace well-being. This becomes community well-being. This becomes family well-being very, very quickly. And it all started with sort of our digital practices. And the other thing you noted that's really important for listeners is that you said you're in your early 80s, and often when I talk about social media, people always want to hear what's happening with the kids. But actually, so the same effects of social media are true across the age ranges, and they actually start getting even more, like, risks of using get more pronounced for the elder population.
Yeah, well, that's very, very true. I know friends that became victims, and that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in today, and one has to learn how to be selective in what they do and what they follow and who they listen to. It's all part of life. Is it any different than we did it, face to face? And you met people and you either liked them or you didn't like them, you believed them or you didn't believe them. This is just another version of that, except you're not doing it face to face. You're doing it on a computer or a phone.
Yeah, there is one version.
Yeah.
There's one version of that being selective, but there are some differences here, and there's just a mass amount of information, whereas I imagine you're someone where when you meet them in person, you take in other information besides the literal words out of their mouth. You take in their nonverbals and how they're treating you and all these other things that's hard to see on social media sometimes. Like, you don't know the whole backstory when you're reading just one Instagram post,
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, I want to take a break and we'll come back. I want to talk a little bit about what you're going to talk about at the symposium, but also in looking over your skills camp site, there's some questions I have about soft skills and what they are and how they differ from what I used to know soft skills as are. We'll be back with Bailey Parnell right after these notes.
Get more for your hard-earned dough.
All right, we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show, and we are talking to Bailey Parnell. She will be the guest speaker this Thursday and Friday at the Merida Institute's International Peace Symposium at Saginaw Valley State University. Bailey, I noticed one of the things you have is a thing called Skills Camp. And in looking at it, I'm assuming, that's a bad word, I know, but I'm assuming a lot of this is designed for industry and how it relates with its customers and so forth and so on. And one of the things you talk about are soft skills. What are soft skills?
That is a really great question. And if I'm being honest, even the phrase soft skills is one that people who work in this space don't love all the time, because soft skill, I'm saying it as someone who uses it. And that's because soft skills are the skills that typically characterize our relationships with ourselves and others. So many people will know them as personality traits or qualities like, is someone resilient? Are they good at public speaking? What's their mindset like? Are they good at conflict resolution? It's the skills that are often put in opposition to technical skills, like, are you able to code a computer well? And these skills, I would argue, are the most important skills, bar none, and the hardest to learn, and that's why they're not very soft at all.
As I was looking at it, my mind immediately said, communication skills, because that's what I grew up understanding. Communication skills, how you
Yeah.
relate to people. And there is a lot of that in this, isn't it?
Yeah, so Skills Camp is my main day-to-day business, and that is leadership development and soft skills training. And it is for a lot of corporations that hire us, but actually we've worked with governments and higher ed institutions and a lot of nonprofits as well. And that should be unsurprising because, to your point, everyone needs communication skills. It doesn't matter what kind of company you're in. It doesn't matter what kind of industry you're in. And what I found, this started just at the beginning of 2016, and what I found was that there's nowhere people were learning them. If you didn't get lucky, if you didn't have a parent that taught you, if you didn't decide to go into a communications degree, who was teaching you how to give feedback to someone? Who was teaching you self-awareness or stress management tactics, the things that actually follow you into your life every single day? And it was separate from the Center for Digital Wellbeing at first, but actually they've come and they work together a lot because, as you can imagine, these skills like, am I feeling resilient? Can I communicate well? Can I problem solve? These are all things that follow you into the world of social media.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's talk about your visit this week, Thursday and Friday. The first one, Thursday, you're going to be talking about social media's impact on mental health. And I think we
Yes.
talked about that a lot, but it is different for everyone, isn't it?
Yes, it is different for everyone. And so Thursday's lecture will be about kind of my grand level ideas about what I've seen in terms of social media and mental health. And we will start by going through some of the risks that people sometimes know, but they don't know how to name them. For example, things like social comparison, like social currency, like predators, scammers, harassment, misinformation, and echo chambers. That part is the downer part, I'll admit. But we have to look at the, what is causing potential risks, and then what might that mean for your mental health? Like those days where you're just feeling, I'm just so tired, I'm just exhausted, like everything is frustrating, and not realizing that actually your scrolls may have contributed to that. But then, most importantly, I would say we end with my 5 steps forward towards safe social, which is a much more positive way. What can we actually do about this? Why are there some people having a good time here? Why are there some people who are able to make this work for their mental health and actually make them feel more connected to the things that they love? And so I'll go through those 5 steps on the Thursday. And then on the Friday, we're going to get much more tactical and hands-on. I'm really excited about this one because there's going to be people from the community actually getting to talk themselves about relating social media and digital well-being to the 4 pillars of peace from the Institute. And those 4 pillars are inner peace, peace in the family, peace in the community, and peace in the workplace. So how on earth does social media connect to all 4 of those things?
Social media can be a pillar destroyer.
And that's why we have to talk about it. I can't stress this enough. People, it's not just it's not the TV. It's not the radio. It has these other elements to it where you have people who are able to participate who anyone can participate. And so therefore it affects dynamics like the family, like parents who are trying to communicate with their kids, or what I've seen recently is kids telling their parents, get off your phone.
Mm-hmm. It seems to me, and it's always been this way with me, it's not the hard item. That is, it's not the television, the radio, the social media, the computer. It's how we use them as individuals.
And that is perfectly well said. This might be a little bit of a spoiler for people listening and coming, but the dark side of social media has only ever been the dark side of people. But the good side of social media is also the good side of people.
Yeah, but it's sometimes tough to find.
It can be tough to find if you are not putting in sort of digital well-being practices, and that's exactly why the Center for Digital Wellbeing needs to exist. We're not the only ones in this space. There are a lot of people doing a lot of good work, but can you imagine being a 15-year-old, no one's ever taught you how to even set a notification preference? Of course you're not going to have a healthy digital environment.
Yeah. The other thing that worries me about youngsters, and see how you think about this, if I took 2 teenagers and sat them on a couch, They are just as likely to let their thumbs do the talking to each other as they are to converse with each other. And my fear is down the road, and when some of these youngsters get into the business world, they're not going to know how to communicate in the way that I at least understand it.
I think it's not, I mean, that is one of my concerns as well, is that people are, that's why I had to start Skills Camp, because it's almost like solving the problem from the other side. At one point I'm looking at the technology, and that part we're doing for free because everybody needs it. But then there's the other part, which is what about when they do get in the workplace? Exactly. And they have completely different ways of relating to each other and completely different ideas of what it means to build a relationship and to spend time together. And you will find in the workplaces that the intergenerational dynamics, 5 generations in the workplace at the same time, have very different views of even questions like, what does it mean to be professional? Should you include emojis in emails? Like all these little things that we don't think about, but everyone has very different answers for.
So let me ask you this one. You might not have an answer for it. What does AI mean to the future of all this?
I'm also very glad that you asked, because even though this Thursday and Friday, the focus is largely on social media, what you may find interesting is that over the last few years, my work has actually largely focused on artificial intelligence, and I'm currently in a doctorate, and I'm set to graduate at the end of this year in learning and organizational change, and I very particularly study how leaders and learners can use artificial intelligence for more human-centric purposes, as in the technology should serve our humanity. And so my general sentiment is that AI will be, as ubiquitous as the internet, and that it will be part of everything that you use that has an intelligence component to it, as in whatever humans have used in the world of intelligence, including in the world of communication and information exchange and radio, that there will be some AI companion in the future. So AI is definitely could be its own complete show.
Yeah. My concern is that the technology is outstripping our ability to understand it and use it properly.
You know what? AI is moving extremely fast, and this is another instance, like social media, where I actually think we should learn from what happened with social media. I don't think we moved fast enough here. And it's not just about moving fast, it's also about intentionally slowing down so that you have sort of innovation and business on one side that are going to press forward and are going to press fast. And then you have governments whom, as people, as citizens, what we should expect from our governments is that they are, in the face of those things, that they are doing things to protect the people. I think that's kind of what you would hope for. And I have to be honest, like what we're not seeing a lot of that right now. We're seeing a lot of governments decide on, in the AI world, you'll hear a lot of this phrasing. Are they doubling down on an innovation agenda, which is pushing forward what you noted about AI, just move forward at all costs, even if it outstrips us, even if it reaches artificial general intelligence, which it will this year probably? Or do we double down on a policy agenda and make sure that we're doing this thoughtfully and that people are not having access to all these things that are going to cause us problems, so that I'm talking about this in another 10 years from now?
But it's not one or the other. I mean, we have to learn how to merge all this into our lives, don't we?
Yes, you're right. And that's exactly where it's people are going to wish forever that this was a black and white solution and that we could just say one or the other, do this or do that. But if you are not using AI, I am promising you that in just a few years, like not as long as social media, the people around you will be, the organizations around you will be. So it's like, I hear you. There is a balance here, and in a healthy community, what I would hope for and what I try to facilitate, at least in my spaces, like what you'll see on Thursday and Friday, is that we're saying, what is that balance? We are all agreeing that there should be a balance, and any person I talk to, I'm telling you, doesn't even if they hate AI, whether they love or hate it, they understand that there are risks and that there are potential benefits here, and that people don't even understand it. How are we going to have that conversation?
Yeah. Well, Bailey Parnell is going to be here Thursday and Friday for the International Peace Symposium put on by the Merida International Institute of Peace and Happiness. You can find out more online, and you can register, what you need to do at miiph.org, and look for the International Peace Symposium. It'll be easy to find. And come and hear the various addresses from Bailey, the keynote speaker at the address. Bailey, it's been a great pleasure. We'll have to do this again sometime. I'm fascinated by it.
I would love to, and there's much more to talk about. I can't wait to see everyone there Thursday and Friday.
Look forward. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks.
Bye-bye now. Bailey Parnell, and she again is the keynote speaker for the International Peace Symposium, May 1st and 2nd at Saginaw Valley State University. We will have open lines now for the remainder of the hour, 989-752-6111.
Jim Wilson, I see the crowd.
Welcome back, the Art Lewis Show, and again, open phones for the remainder of the hour. And let's go to those phones now because we have Rachel, who is in Bay City. Rachel, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Art. Hey, I wanted to chime in on the what show may replace Tom.
Okay.
And I don't know if Glenn Beck does it anymore, but I love him. I loved him when he was on your station, or Joe Pags, or maybe something like, I don't know if Tucker does anything.
I don't know
anymore.
Tucker and Beck, I think, are podcasting.
Probably solo. Yeah, probably,
Pags has a show. Joe does.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Joe's only because technically he credits me with giving him his start.
Yeah, when you guys said that the other day, that was the first time I'd heard that.
Well, what happened was many years ago, Joe was in this area, and he came in here for an interview and sat in the lobby watching me do my show and thought to himself, I want to do that. And then he filled in for me a couple of times and got hooked. His career has skyrocketed. I mean, he's on at least a couple hundred stations now.
Yeah, he's doing well.
So he's doing really well. He's filled in for Hannity, and he's doing very well.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not in on the conversation, so I just keep my mouth shut.
I just know you're talking about it right now. So okay,
all right.
We'll catch you later.
Good enough, Rach.
Right,
thanks. Bye now. Just for those of you that may have missed it, I mean, we've been talking about it, but the reason this conversation has come up is Tom Sullivan is retiring at the end of May. So his show goes away from 6 to 9 p.m., which means we now have 3 hours to fill. And there are all kinds of suggestions. There's all kinds of programs. There's all kinds of opportunities. Which one takes precedent? Can't tell you. Have no idea. Don't get involved in those things. I many years ago, opted to stay out of the management side of broadcasting. It just didn't make me happy. I've done it. I was a station manager. I've been a program director. I've done all of that. And none of that made me happy. The only thing that made me happy was sitting doing what I'm doing right now. So I decided back then, no matter what the opportunities were, my answer was no. I want to continue doing what I'm doing. And fortunately, for me, I work for a company that said, okay, we understand. And I've been blessed to be able to do what I do for as long as I've done it. And don't look to change. So it would not be fair for me, who told the company years ago I'm not interested in management, to try and chime in and be part of it. Don't want to do that. So I just sit back and wait until they tell me this is what's going to happen. And I'll learn at the same time you do. We'll take a break, come back, get to more calls here on the Art Lewis Show.
Every great story begins with curiosity. At Bangor Township Schools, kindergarten is the first chapter of a lifelong adventure. Here, we nurture curious minds into tomorrow's innovators. Registration is open. Begin your journey of growth, discovery, and excitement now. Together, we'll imagine, inspire, innovate.
The adventure begins here. Kindergarten and Young Fives enrollment is now open. Learn more at Bangor Township Schools on Facebook or visit bangorschools.org.
Rocket Grab Plus.
And we return here on WSGW, and let's see, Owen is with us in Beaverton. Owen, good morning.
Good morning. I was going to call you when it got closer, but on May 17th, a Saturday night at Meadow Lanes, we're having a Glavin High School Travel Club Euchre fundraiser, and I have 42 kids in Glavin that wants to go on a education European trip.
Ah, good. That's excellent.
I will send you a today or probably today. I'll send you a email or Charlie Ruda email.
Yeah, send it to Charlie because he'll put it on our event calendar.
And the euchre or the hymn sing I did the last time. I had a couple people from your station that came,
Good.
So
Good.
I heard it on your station and.
Excellent.
Team. So I didn't want to tell you about it because I know you're into travel and
yeah, very good.
So
very good. Good, Owen. I'm glad you're doing it.
So Saturday, May 17th, registration's at 5 o'clock. Play cards at 6 o'clock. We're going to do 9 rounds of euchre, 15 minutes apiece. So you play as many rounds as you play in 15 minutes. We're going to have a loaner's jackpot, cash prizes. We're going to give away some other prizes. And there's a bait sale and silent auction. And so if you like to play euchre, come on down.
Excellent. Very good.
And
where is it?
At Meadow Lanes Bowling Alley Banquet Center, located at 430 West 5th Street in Gladwin.
All right. Perfect.
You go to the Family Fair in Gladwin on M18, going out of town.
Well, they'll find it.
It's on the left.
Good deal. All right. Thanks a lot, Owen. Appreciate it.
I will send it to Charlie Rube for you.
Okay. Good enough.
Thank you. Bye.
You bet. Bye-bye now. And here is Mark. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
Good.
Yeah, I did a follow-up jingled MDOT in regards to the rumble strip on going out to Mackinac exit there. And what their reasoning was behind it, they are well aware of the rumble strips. They were hoping the plows were going to rip up the rumble strips, and they said that sometime this spring they're going to take them up. So they'll get removed.
Derumbled.
I didn't know that was the way they – what's that?
Derumbled.
Yeah, well, she said they got crushed and they can't get them up with the plows, so they got to go out there and physically
remove them.
Yeah. Hey, I would like to see in Bay City an app or a meeting place, Hey Bay City, where all the food trucks for 4 months can list in on where they're going to be and so forth.
I don't know if that Hey Bay City is still up and running or not.
Oh, I don't know, but I'd like to see.
I'm not sure if it is.
I'd like to see a Jamaican jerk chicken truck with shrimp burgers on it. Around. I think that'd be a good truck to have.
Yeah, thanks for making me hungry. Very nice of you.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, the weather's nice. Go out and enjoy it.
All right. Good enough, Mark. Thanks. Bye-bye now. Ooh, sounds interesting, to say the least. Anyhow, we've got, let's see, we've got Joe in Willard with us. Joe, good morning.
Morning. You know, we were talking, or you guys were talking early on at your 10 o'clock show that about Bay City and them did not want to comply with ICE. Well, first of all, and you said that they don't have the police to do it, but at the same time, Art, you got to understand that they're law enforcement officers, if there's a law being broken, they have to either ignore it or go after the criminal.
Okay, well,
once people enter this country illegally, they are officially a criminal.
Well, now let's
right or wrong.
Let's discuss this. Those sheriff's deputies are out on the road answering call after